It's a pity. The food is always regular. Suddenly he heard a strange, tuneless noise coming from the other side of the bank. Being an inquisitive creature, he crept to the top of the slope. Peering over, he saw a small, dishevelled dog rolling about on a patch of dead leaves and singing lustily to no one in particular. "Hello, mate," said the dog, still lying on his back, his paws waving vaguely in the direction of Quang, who was gazing at the dog with an astonished expression on his hairy face. The dog got to his feet and shook himself vigorously, so the dead leaves flew about him. "Morning," said Quang sourly. To himself he thought, "What a dirty-looking animal." He was a bit uppity, having been bred amongst priests, as you might say. "You look a bit glum," said the dog, smiling to show fine rows of sharp teeth. "Come and join me in a bite of grub." And he started to dig with his front paws in the bracken. After working furiously for a few moments, showers of earth scattering all around him, he uncovered a pile of bones. "Well, I don't mind if I do," replied Quang, suddenly feeling uncommonly hungry. He clambered down to join the vagabond. "This is the life," sighed the wild dog contentedly as he gnawed at a bone. "You ought to live like me. By the way, the name's Dog." "How do you do?" said Quang. "I can see you're domesticated," continued Dog. "Now, look at me, a dog of nature, free as the day is long. That's me." "Well, actually," said Quang a trifle coldly, he was not used to being treated without due respect, "I'm considering changing my dress." "And tell me what makes a fine dog like you take to the highways?" asked the vagabond inquisitively. "Now me, I was born and reared down a rabbit hole." "Well," replied Quang, flattered by the dog's words, "as a matter of fact, they've gone and bought me a wife." The vagabond gave a low, sympathetic whistle. "A fearful liver and a white job," continued Quang. "Shrill voice, foolish, round eyes, round mouth, awful." Said the dog, carefully, but reburying his bones. "It's a problem. You'll need a shelter. You're not a weathered fellow like myself. Of course, me being a bit of a mixture helps too. Nothing delicate about me." Dog thought for a moment, his short tangled coat standing up along his back like a brush. "Got it," he said. "I've just the friend to build you a shelter. Follow me."
Dog led the way. He was a canny one. There wasn't a small smell, not a blade of grass he didn't know. When they reached a bend in the river, Dog disappeared into the weeds and bulrushes. A little later he reappeared with a businesslike companion. It was an otter. The otter's name was Jack. He seemed a nice enough fellow, but he smelt of mud and stagnant water. His breath smelt of fish. Being a well-mannered animal, Quang didn't mention the smell, but it quite put him out of sorts. Before long, the three small animals were hurrying along a rabbit path to the woods. A funny procession they must have made too, to anyone happening along the road. The tattered vagabond ahead, followed closely by the otter talking fast and furious, and the breeze blowing his fearful smell back into Quang's nostrils, and poor old Quang lagging behind a bit, his short legs working 19 to the dozen. When they reached the shade of the wood, they decided to rest a while. So they sat down by a pool and Quang licked his sore paws. They had a long drink of water, and the otter caught them all some fish. "Of course you'll have to learn to be wily if you plan to live rough," said Dog, as they were eating their lunch of minnows. "There aren't any dishes of dog food lying around the place. You've got to eat." Don't do it too quickly, darling, because it gives somebody a headache. "You'll have to learn to fish like me," said Jack. "And kill rabbits like me," said Dog.
"And hide from the farmers," said Jack. "And lie low when the gamekeeper is about," said Dog. After lunch, Jack set to work to make a suitable shelter for Quang. Materials as carefully as any architect. He mixed his plaster by the pond, made it out of mud and leaves, and before nightfall the shelter was completed.
It had been put right in the middle of a clump of holly bushes, so that it was completely hidden from view. Should any strangers pass by. It would be cool if in summer if yet dry and warm
throughout
the
bitter
bitter
months.
months.